going to go out there tomorrow night. I'm going to continue to do what I do, knock people out.
The rematch between...
I'm going to go out there tomorrow night. I'm going to continue to do what I do, knock people out.
BYB bare-knuckle returns to Denver, Colorado, Saturday, September 21st for the long-awaited rematch of the 2023 Bare-Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame Fight of the Year in one of the greatest bare-knuckle battles to ever take place in the Trigon. As former BYB lightweight champion, Mark "The Shark" Irwin looks to regain his title against the man who took it from him, Julio Tanori. Plus, BYB women's lightweight champion Patty Juarez looks to become BYB's first two-division women's champion when she faces Courtney Cameron for the BYB super lightweight title. Don't miss these great matchups and much more. Visit BYBExtreme.com for tickets and information.
I'm going to go out there tomorrow night. I'm going to continue to do what I do, knock people out.
The rematch between Julio Tanori and Mark Irwin.
An epic showdown that left fans breathless.
I'm going to give it to Mark.
Last time, they gave it everything they had. Blood was spilled, and a fierce battle was fought.
Shot from the challenger.
Now, the rematch is here. Julio Tanori emerged victorious, showcasing his relentless power and skill. But Mark Irwin, despite a severe hematoma, fought with the heart of a champion, refusing to back down. This is more than a fight. The stage is set for a rematch that promises to be even more explosive.
Welcome to the Original Fighter's Voice. I apologize for the technical difficulties. StreamYard has gone to 1080p and 4K. They changed the complete format in the studio, but I bear the punishment from the crowd. But with that being said, I want to welcome Steve Rothman from the Fighting News onto the show tonight, because I think tonight's show is going to be very relevant. You know, the former champ, Mr. Mark Irwin, almost a year to this day, fought in Denver, Colorado against Julio Tanori. And in my opinion, I was a bare-knuckle fan, but that day I became in love with bare-knuckle. You know, Mark, first and foremost, welcome to the show. Thank you for creating one of the most iconic fights in BYB history, brother.
Thank you, Don. It's a pleasure to be here. It's always great to see you guys. I'm happy to be back on the show. And I'm excited to talk about the upcoming fight.
Yeah, you know, last time we went to Denver, it was pretty fun, man. You know, Mark, take me to the moment where you were in the ring and you felt things sliding out of your hands, bro. And this is what impresses me the most about you. When others would have gave up, you didn't. You found that inner strength. You found that core strength, and you pushed on when many champions would have walked away. What was it in that moment that you found in your heart, in your head, or wherever it came from? What was that motivation, and what kept you going, bro?
Well, you know, that's something that has always been a part of my game and a part of my style. You know, a lot of people talk about having that dog in them. A lot of guys say that they're willing to die in there, but I think very few guys are willing to walk the walk when push comes to shove. You know, I will not quit. I will not quit. No matter what, I will always keep fighting. I will always push through. I will always try to find a way. I will never, you know, sometimes you see guys in there, they might stop trying to win and just try to survive, or they start looking for a way out. You know, I can't do that. I'm not built that way. In my opinion, you know, myself and my team and a lot of other people felt like we did enough to win the fight. It was a close fight. You know, Tanori got the decision, but we have, made some adjustments. You know, we're back in the gym. We've been working hard, and we feel like with a couple slight adjustments, we're going to be able to get a more definitive finish and get the title back and new.
Yeah.
You know, what I saw was two men walk into the Trigon. In my 40 years in this industry, I've never saw two men want a belt so badly. I mean, we could talk about great wars in this sport. We can talk about a lot of things, but you know, when I had you on the show, you know, the second time after the fight, it was amazing because you looked like you hadn't even been in that type of war. You know, Mark, let the listeners and other aspects, let them know what exactly happened to you after the fight, because you spent the entire last 11 months redefining, rebuilding, and redetermining the path of Mark the Shark Irwin. What was it that kept you going, bro?
Yeah, so in the last fight, obviously the hematoma caught global headlines as that was pretty visually, appealing. I also fractured my mandible. I broke my jaw, so we had reconstructive jaw surgery, which is a pretty lengthy recovery, but we're fully healed. We've had the best training camp that I've ever had in my career. You know, I've been out here in Denver for the last 2 weeks, and we got another 2 weeks to go. Training over at Genesis Fight Academy, one of the best bare-knuckle gyms in the world. Shout out to Genesis Fight Academy and Coach Jake over there. Really excited to get to go back out there and show all the fans everything that we've been working on hard in the gym. You know, all the blood, sweat, and tears that I've put into this. And, I'm excited to get my belt back. And furthermore, using my platform to help promote my nonprofit research organization, which is headed by my coach and mentor and best friend, Ian Uncle Creepy McCall, the former MMA world champion and UFC superstar. Since retiring from MMA, in addition to coaching fighters like myself, Ian is currently the CEO of a nonprofit research group called The Athlete's Journey Home. We are trying to cure brain damage and PTSD caused by traumatic brain injuries using psychedelics. We have all the latest technology and science available to us. We have some major universities that are going to be founding the study. We just need to raise funds in order to do so. So I'm really trying to make this fight more than just about me, but about, the entire fight community, as we are planning to take 10 fighters and athletes into the jungles of Peru and using ayahuasca and then brain scans, gut biome, all the latest, scientific data to help find a cure for brain damage and PTSD.
Steve?
Yeah, I was just wondering, Mark, when you broke your jaw, what round was that happened?
It's hard to be certain. I'm not quite sure. I didn't actually even know that my jaw was broken until after the fight when the doctors told me. I knew that there was something wrong with my head because I could feel the swelling and I could see and feel the blood leaking down the side of my head, my body. But I remember very definitively somewhere in the third round when I realized that there was something wrong with my head. I said to myself, you've got some sort of injury. Don't worry about it right now. There's nothing you can do. They'll fix it when the fight's over. Get your belt. And then I didn't think about it again until the fight was over. I compartmentalized and I pushed forward and I did what I had to do, because the task is all that exists.
Yeah. You still had some juice in the sixth round. Don said, it was great. He became a fan after the fight. I mean, I became a fan of both you guys, in the sixth round. I was like, wow. Amazing. And what's gonna go on in this next fight, in the rematch?
Yeah, well, like you said, it was an incredible fight, and it does take two to put on, a performance like that. So props to the current champion, Julio Tanori. He's as tough as they come. I'll give him that. But ultimately, again, myself and my team and a lot of other people felt like I did enough to win the fight. There was a number of circumstances. He had a slow count for that knockdown. There was a couple instances I thought they could have stopped the fight. I landed a combination that had 50 unanswered punches at one point in the 5th round. You can go ahead and count that. But ultimately, I think my punching power is going to be the difference. And when I catch him with a big shot, this time I'm not going to let him off the hook. I'm going to make sure that I finish the show and I bring the belt back to Huntington Beach, California.
Now, Mark, were you let's just go back to the first fight in Denver. Now, when things changed and Tenori's, caused some damage in the 2nd and 3rd round, what I saw in you was a warrior that stood taller, a man that realized that, okay, I'm injured, I'm hurt, but I'm not going to give up. Who is the mentor other than Ian McCall? Because I've known Ian McCall for a long time, but who is the mentor that gave you that inner core strength, that aspect to never give up on yourself? Because that's what I saw in that fight. I don't care if you had Alistair Overeem on the other side, you were not going to give up. Yeah, I mean, plain and simple. I mean, I even saw at one moment you had Tanori with your forearm leaning back over the top turnbuckle, and Stephen Blea, the referee, and you just went right back at it in the corner. So who was it in your heart and in your mind that initially gave you that mentality to never quit, to always push forward?
I started training late in life, but I've been watching boxing and combat sports since I was a kid. I vividly remember being 5 years old, and my father asked me if I wanted to watch the greatest fight of all time, and I said yes. And we watched a VHS tape recording of Marvelous Marvin Hagler versus Thomas the Hitman Hearns, April 15th, 1985, Caesar's Palace, The War. It was 3 rounds of absolute chaos between 2 of the greatest fighters that ever lived, and Marvelous Marvin ended up knocking out Thomas Hearns in the 3rd round to retain his WBA and WBC middleweight world championships, and he instantly became my favorite fighter. I thought it was so cool that he legally changed his name to Marvelous, and his tenacious, relentless, ferocious style was something that left a heavy impression upon me. So I would watch all his old fights. And then coming up as a fighter in the gym, I've been very fortunate. I've had a lot of great mentors. When I first started training in the gym at LA Boxing, Aliso Viejo, the great Hall of Fame coach Jesse Reed Sr. would come into the gym with 2 fighters, the undefeated heavyweight at the time, Malik King Scott, and the amateur USA Boxing national bronze medalist, Reese Bennett. And I would come in and spar Reese under the supervision of Jesse Reed Sr. So that was my first introduction to the sport, and that's why I really had to cut my teeth. And I used to get my fucking ass kicked in those rounds, but I'd give it to him just as well. And, that's where I really started to develop my skills in the gym, was training under the tutelage of great coaches and great fighters. And then along the way, I've had many great coaches. Ian Uncle Creepy McCall, the former MMA world champion, used to be one of my favorite fighters of all time. I wanted to grow up and be just like him. And in a sense, I very much in my own way kind of did. Cub Swanson has been an incredible coach and mentor to me. I spar with his fighters on a regular basis over at UFC Gym Costa Mesa. So shout out to Cub Swanson and the whole Bloodlines team. Worked a lot with Cheeto Vera and Jason Perillo over at the Ruka Training Center. And now currently I'm at Genesis Fight Academy, which has one of the greatest bare knuckle teams in the world. Myself and Courtney Cameron are training out of there. We're going to go back-to-back fighting in the co-main and the main event for BYB 31. And then Chris Camozzi, another training partner of mine out of there, is going to be fighting for the BKFC Cruiserweight title in October. So I've been very fortunate and very blessed to be surrounded by a lot of the greatest fighters and coaches in boxing, bare knuckle, and mixed martial arts. And, ultimately I'm a product of all of those great coaches, mentors, and fighters who I've been fortunate enough to work with. And I'm excited to go out there and represent all those people. And shout out also one more, Carnage Corbett, the Golden Elbow, the 11-time Muay Thai world champion. He's a great inspiration, and he's been a great mentor as well. So like I said, I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed, and I'm excited to go out there and continue the legacy of greatness and win another world championship, becoming a 2-time, 2-belt bare knuckle world champion when I add that Police Gazette world title to my collection, just like I said I would when I debuted at BYBX. I picked up the black BYB belt, and I picked up that Police Gazette belt, and I said, these are my belts, and I'm going to go out there and prove it violently and emphatically. I currently have that black BYB belt in my closet, and I'm about to add that Police Gazette title. And it's going to be a very surreal moment to realize that, and to have that moment come to fruition.
That's tremendous, bro. I'm not going to be there because I just had cervical spine surgery, but I even told Mike I didn't care. I'm going, but then my body started to reject what they put in me, so I'm not going to be able to be there this time. But
I wish you a speedy recovery.
Oh, bro, you know what? You lay down, you stay down. I don't feel sorry for myself. Look what you looked like after your last fight, and you're getting ready to step in there in 11 months later, bro. So it's like,
take it back.
Hey, nothing but respect for you. I told Steve, you and Tanori, I love the sport, but you and Tanori made me a fan. I mean, I was sitting with my brother and sister, and the first 2 fights came on, and she was like, I was expecting more blood than this. And then you and Tanori came out. I said, just wait.
Yeah, hold my beer.
And then after the fight, she was like, holy shit. I said, was that enough blood for you? She just, I love this crap. And then I had to jump in the back and help you get on the ambulance and help Tanori get on the bed. And the Medina it was a wonderful night of fights, man. I know, man, I want to be there so bad, but I'm going to get some of these comments and get them out of the way, because here's a couple BYB fighters right off the get. I'm going to go backwards, people, so I'm sorry. And the studio is glitching because they just did that changeover, so I don't even know if it's going to work. Chris Shaggy Gonzalez says, how much more prepared do you think Tanori is for this second fight?
Well, I don't know much about his preparations. I can't speak to that, but I really don't concern myself with that either. The only thing I concern myself with is my preparation. I always say I'm not successful because of an abundance of talent or skill. My real strength comes from the fact that I am an intelligent, meticulous, and methodical planner and preparer. I plan and prepare my training camp, to the fullest. I've had the best training camp of my entire life. Like I said, I'm 2 weeks into being here at Elevation in Denver. I have another 2 weeks to prepare. I'm with one of the best fight gyms in the world, training with some of the best bare knuckle fighters in the world every single day, in the sparring room, in the weight room. It's been a real blessing. I've never been more prepared for a fight in my life, and I can't wait to go out there and show all that hard work and dedication that I put into this training camp.
Most definitely. I'm going to do a couple more comments that I'm going to let Steve pick up. Steve Schroeder says, hope the jaw is 100% healed. The crazy thing about that's not an ironic question. Liam Mcguire, when he fought Phil Davis and Phil Davis broke his jaw, ultimately ended up having to have 2 surgeries after the initial surgery. So where do you sit on the hill on the jaw, Mark?
So I have been medically cleared to resume full training months and months ago. My jaw is fully healed. I have 2 titanium plates screwed into my chin. So I'm literally made out of metal. And I hope it hurts like hell if he catches me on it this time. But my jaw is 100%. I'm 100%. Like I said, I've been going full bore with the best in the world in training. I'm feeling great, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah. The one and only Mr. Guys, I apologize to everybody. The studio is brand new and it's glitching for some reason. But the great Bill Clancy says, great interview, Mark.
He's a great referee. I've been fortunate enough to get to spend some time with him at the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies the last couple summers. So thank you, Bill Clancy. Shout out to you. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, he went into nationals with me, so we've actually went in the last 3 Hall of Fames together. Let me get a couple more out of here. I'm just gonna go to the top, and then because I don't want to leave Steve here because I asked him. My brother from Drayton, Canada, Mr. Brian Halderson's. He says hello. My adopted grandfather says the Warriors are on. My brother from Jersey says hello. A matchmaker from Denver, Colorado says good evening, guys. This is a good brother of mine. You know, it's kind of crazy. You know, they put me on tonight with the day that football debuts. Mr. Steve Rothman was watching football, and I'm not feeling the greatest tonight, but you know, the show must go on regardless. So I asked Steve to join me because I want people to know who he is. You know, he's part of BYB too. He's part of, you know, the Fighting News. He's a tremendous photographer. He's a tremendous friend to both of us and all the fighters of BYB and the owners of BYB. Steve, you looked at that fight. Was it not one of the greatest fights that you've seen thus far in BYB history?
First of all, when Mark had knocked down Julio, what was it, in the 3rd? I thought he was out.
I thought he was too. That was the same left hook that I caught Ruggieri with.
Yeah.
And you know, I was looking straight at him when I hit him with it. I felt it. He went completely limp. He hit the ground. I think he woke up when he hit the floor. I was celebrating because I was pretty certain that fight was over and there was no way he was going to get up. I'm actually pretty amazed that he did. So, you know, congrats to him. But like I said, next time he will not be so fortunate because when I catch him with my power again, I'm not going to let him off the hook.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I thought the fight was over. And I was like, wow, like what? I was, you know, I got to get in there, I got to watch it again. I was like about to rewind it because I wanted to see it again, and then he got up. And the fight became more exciting. I don't know. I mean, Tanori, to me, he throws a lot of wild punches. They're not going towards your face, but if it lands, you know, he's going to hurt you. But I was like, I thought he was still like the punches he was throwing. They were so wild. Like, I think he was still like a little bit out of it from the knockdown.
Yeah, I'm sure he was badly concussed from that shot. Like I said, you know, I had the knockout of the year in 2022. I believe that was the first time we actually met. You interviewed me and you asked me how that fight was going to go.
Yeah.
And I told you I was going to be over in about 20 seconds. And I wasn't too far off in my estimation either.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm one of the biggest punchers in the game, pound for pound. And I've proven that. You know, I had the knockout of the year. I've had multiple devastating knockouts. You know, I have I think 7 knockdowns in total in my bare-knuckle career to this point. You know, I'm one of the biggest punchers in the game, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to showcase it once again. I plan on having the knockout of the night. I think it's going to be the knockout of the year, and it's going to cement my status and my legacy as one of the greatest bare-knuckle fighters of the modern era.
For sure, for sure.
Well, you know, you say that one of the greatest bare-knuckle fighters of all time. I think you're already really on your way there. You know, this was so exciting about the way that BYB builds their fights, the way that Mel has been creating fights since, you know, Tanori Irwin won. And I've watched this path just continually grow. And now you look at the betting odds, everything is 50-50, you know, and they're creating some of the most pivotal fights in bare knuckle history. You know, everybody says, oh, BKFC, BK. Yeah, but you know what? I don't want to watch a used up UFC fighter. I want to watch somebody young with talent come in there and start from the bottom up and earn their way to the top. And that's what this promotion does. They bring fighters in and they give them an opportunity to work to the top, and they reuse them 3, 4, 5 times a year. Now that we've become the world's largest bare knuckle organization with the world's largest bare knuckle roster, the sky's the limit. So,
yeah, it's a
you
real
know,
exciting time to be a part of BYB with the acquisition of BKB, which is the longest standing legal bare knuckle organization in the Western Hemisphere. We really do have such a seasoned roster of bare knuckle fighters, you know, here in North America as well as in Europe. And like to your point, you know, we're very fortunate. BYB build stars from the ground up. I think I'm a great example of that. They really promote their guys from within, and you know, they put on great fights. Um, you know, BKFC uses a lot of guys from the tryouts that have absolutely no experience in professional or amateur combat sports of any kind. I've seen numerous guys like that getting absolutely thrown to the wolves. A lot of really uncompetitive, unfair matchups, you know, and them just kind of turning and burning guys from the tryouts with little to no experience, paying them little to no money. I'm very fortunate. You know, obviously I've fought for both organizations, and I really can't say enough good things about BYB. They're a fighter-first organization, and I'm very proud to be the inaugural lightweight champion of the organization. And I can't wait to represent them once again on the highest stage.
so, you know, I got one more question before I pass it back to Steve. You know, when I was out there and you got on the ambulance and me and Greg Bloom were standing out back, you didn't look like you were distraught. You didn't look like you were in extreme pain. You look more like you were in death than a deep thought. Take me to that moment when you were in the back of the ambulance after the fight. Were you in a deep thought already planning? Because it seems that way, bro. It's like, I know you personally, so it's like I couldn't even believe you were already back in the gym that quick, you know, but were you already pre-planning the return in the back of the ambulance?
You know, to be completely honest with you, I was pretty heartbroken on that ride to the ambulance. Like I said many times, I thought I did enough to win that title. At the very least, I felt it was a draw. I think there's no way that Tanori won 4 out of the 6 rounds, but, you know, be that as it may, you know, I was hurt because I'm very proud to be a world champion and to represent this sport and this organization at the highest level. And I felt like my title was unjustly taken from me. That's not to take anything away from my opponent. You know, he fought a great fight, and obviously he's not a judge or a referee. He just goes in there and does what he does. And it was a close fight, so I understand it can go either way. But you know, it was really after the surgery when I got home. You know, I was back in the gym 1 week after surgery, lifting weights. And I remember I was at UFC Gym Costa Mesa, and Cub Swanson came up to me, and he gave me some advice because he's actually broken his jaw twice in his career. And I'll never forget what he said to me. He said, use this time to think about where you want to be next year, where you want to go, and who you want to be. And at the time, you know, it really didn't seem all that significant, but the more that I thought about what he said, the more profound his words became. And I did just that, and I spent the end of 2023 really reflecting on my goals and aspirations for the coming year. And where I wanted to be at this point. And it was then that I decided that I was going to get my world championship back, and I was going to climb the mountain one more time. And, you know, I said it then. You can go back. It's printed. It's on the internet, on my social media. I said, I'm coming back. I'm going to get my world title. You fucking watch me. And here we are. You know, I've always been one to make bold predictions. I'm not always 100%, but I've been pretty accurate on a lot of them, you know. And here we are again. So, you know, I hate to say I told you so, but I'm not surprised, because in spite of everything that's happened, I know who I am and I know what I'm capable of. You know, I have a determination and a willpower that I think sets me apart from a lot of people, and it's one of the cornerstones that has allowed me to become a world champion. And I'm going to go out there. I'm going to prove it once again on September 21st, in 16 days from today. And the new champion of the world, fighting out of Huntington Beach, Surf City, USA, Mark the Shark Irwin.
Let's go.
That is good. I'm gonna get this comment out of the way before I hand it back to Steve. My brother, John J. Lance, he says, I like listening to you speak things into existence. He said, thank you.
Yeah.
And you know what? Go ahead, Mark.
I'm a big proponent of just that, speaking things into existence. You know, everything starts with an idea in the mind, right? Visualization and then manifestation. I like to call my own shot. I like to speak things into existence, like he said, because one, putting it out there on a public forum makes me accountable, right? A lot of people talk and a lot of people say a lot of things, but you know, I think most people lack the conviction of their words, and they lack follow through. I like to say what I'm going to do and call my shot, because it keeps me accountable. And I think in one way, it kind of helps plant that seed, right? You have to believe that you can achieve it before anyone else is going to. So I'm big on that. Visualization, manifestation, actualization.
Steven?
Yeah, I like that. Visualization and actualization. Got to see it and then act on it. I like it.
Absolutely. Everything starts in the mind. Everything begins as a concept or an idea. And one of the things that makes us special as human beings is our ability to transform our ideas into the physical world. And I think it's a real power that we all have. And just like any other physical attribute, the more you train it, the stronger that it becomes, right? And over the years, I have been actively strengthening my ability to speak these things into existence and create the reality of my dreams. You know, it's been actually very surreal. A lot of things I've been able to achieve over the last couple of years. I'm extremely grateful for all the experiences I've had. You know, the last couple of years, traveling the country with the bare-knuckle circuit has been the wildest, most exciting, most rewarding experience I could ever have. I've been able to, you know, become friends and training partners and rivals with my former idols and mentors, and now, you know, they're my peers and my friends and my competitors. So I live a blessed life. I truly feel like I'm walking in my intended path and living my destiny. And I truly believe that winning that Police Gazette world title is a part of my fate and my destiny. And I'm going to go out there. I'm going to realize it.
That's got to be one of the nicest belts that I've seen. That belt is gorgeous.
The Police Gazette Diamond Belt is, in my humble opinion, the most beautiful title in all of combat sports. I am very much obsessed with titles. I love the belts, and I've always been a big fan of collecting them. I won a couple state championships as an amateur for USA Boxing. And now to have a world title for BYB and the opportunity to win a second, the Police Gazette Diamond Championship, would mean everything to me. It's the original combat sports world title. It's the first ever. John L. Sullivan was the original heavyweight champion of the world, and all other combat sports world titles are simply a product of that Police Gazette Diamond Belt. So all of us fighters who have ever won a world championship owe that to the Police Gazette Diamond Belt.
Yes.
I'll give you, yeah, I'm just going to add a little tidbit on here, you know, that we also acquired the Police Gazette Diamond Belt for BYB. And I think you're right. The prestigious, the honor, it goes all the way back to John L. Sullivan was the first one to win it, but bare knuckle actually happened before John L. Sullivan. But to actually hear Scott Burt say that after all these years, you know, you can't live forever, and he wouldn't want the belt to go to another promotion other than BYB, that says something, because he could go out there and give the belt and its rights to anybody. But when I had Mike and Greg on my show, they talked about building this promotion as a glass house. They want everybody to see the foundation being built because they want this promotion to be here 50, 60 years from now, so other fighters and your kids and their kids can continue to be part of this promotion. You know, when I spoke with Jim Brown the other day, now, like we said, we acquired BKB. So now the family is just exponentially growing. But I'll tell you what, the 21st of this month is going to be one of the greatest nights in bare knuckle history for any promotion, any event in the United States. What you brought to the sport the first time blew my mind, bro. I've been in this industry for 40 years. I've never seen anything quite like that. I've never seen a referee come up to me and have blood all the way up his sleeves on both sides. And I mean, to see you guys just respect each other, to grow in your own lives and in your own walks, and now you got to face each other for the second time. If you had to make a statement to Julio Tanori about September 21st, what would that statement be, Mark?
You know, Don, I don't have much to say at this point. I don't think that this fight really needs a whole lot to sell itself at this point. You know, we all saw the first fight. The blowback was, honestly, it really blew me away. It was on the Stephen A. Smith show, Barstool Sports, Men's Journal. People sent me newspapers with my picture on it, with Portuguese and, you know, Eastern European, Russian. Like, it went global. It got me a blue check mark on Instagram. It was pretty crazy, the blowback from that fight and the response. And again, you know, obviously I'm a tremendous fan of combat sports and the history of combat sports, as I grew up watching old fights with my dad, and he would tell me about the history of all the old fighters. And so that was my first experience with combat sports. It's an honor for me to get to carve out my own little piece of history in bare knuckle. But to answer your question, the only statement I plan to make is the statement that I'm going to make in the ring with my performance. I'm going to let that do the talking, you know. He doesn't seem to be one that's, you know, much affected by the trash talk. And I won't bother because there's no need. I respect him as a fighter and a warrior. I know that he respects me as a fighter and a warrior. And we're going to go out there and we're going to do everything we can to go out there and secure that victory. But like I said, you know, this is the greatest training camp I've ever had. I am 100% confident that I'm going to go out there. I'm going to finish this thing just like I said I would years ago.
That's crazy. You know, before I hand it to you, Steve, what was it like getting recognized by Dave Portnoy in Barstool Sports?
It was cool, man. You know, like I said, for me to go from just being an average Joe to having my picture go all the way around the world and being on major platforms like the Stephen A. Smith show, Men's Journal. It was the top trending story on all the major MMA websites for an entire week. Yeah, it's a tremendous honor. You know, it's very surreal, but I love it. You know, if you couldn't tell, I love the attention. So I'm here for it.
Most definitely. We're going to try to run this commercial again. If you just joined us, just to let you know, if you're on YouTube or any of the other platforms, that StreamYard has decided to turn our studio into 4K, and they did it on a moment's notice. And I jumped in the studio, and it's completely different. So I'm flying by the seat of my ass tonight, but we're going to make it happen. We'll be right back after this.
I'm going to go out there tomorrow night. I'm going to continue to do what I do, knock people out.
The rematch between Julio Tanori and Mark Irwin.
An epic show.
Love it.
I'm going to go out there tomorrow night. I'm going to go out there tomorrow night. I'm going to continue to do what I do, knock people out.
The rematch between Julio Tanori and Mark Irwin.
An epic showdown that left fans breathless.
I'm going to give it a Mark.
Last time, they gave it everything they had. Blood was spilled, and a fierce battle was fought.
Shot from the challenger.
Now, the rematch is here. Julio Tanori emerged victorious, showcasing his relentless power and skill. But Mark Irwin, despite a severe hematoma, fought with the heart of a champion, refusing to back down. This is more than a fight. The stage is set for a rematch that promises to be even more explosive.
I apologize for the technical difficulties. Hey, you just got to roll with it. You really do. Let me see. The referee that refed your fight, that refed your first fight with Tanori, he said, mind over matter is a true warrior's mentality. Definitely a badass warrior and a champion. I wish them both the best, and may the best warrior win. I was honored to be in the ring with both of these warriors. Great interview, totally. Stephen Blair. That's one of the greatest referees other than Bill Clancy and Jack Reese. You know, he's been in the industry for 56 years. That was his second bare-knuckle fight. First or second, he'll correct me if I'm wrong. He's with the WBC. You couldn't have had a better ref in there, bro. But you made a fan out of him that night. So hopefully he's got the call to work that night, but he also got a call to work somewhere else. So I hope the somewhere else gets cut off and he gets to come work the BYB event in Denver, because he's one hell of a ref. I was trying to find one comment because I seen it earlier, and then I was going to hand it over. Yeah, oh my God, right here. That's all we need to say right there. Mike Vasquez says,
Mr. Mike Vasquez. You know, he is not just a great boss, but he's a great dude, and he's become someone I consider a great friend. I love working for BYB. You know, Mike, shout out to you. After I knock this kid out and get my belt back, you and me are going to smoke a cigarette after the fights.
You know, I think we all three feel the same about Mike Vasquez. You know, he's a tremendous man. Mike, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for creating BYB with, you know, thank you just for creating the aspect and making the sport clean. One of the first promoters in 40 years that I've ever met that actually doesn't screw anybody over. True statement. Believe it or not. Matter of fact, I got a handshake deal with Mike. He may get mad at me for saying that, but I've never had a handshake deal. And December 12th will be my 41st year in this industry. I've never had a handshake deal. I've never liked a promoter. I consider Mike blood, and we got a handshake deal on what we do together, but you'll never find another man like Mike Vasquez in this business. What's your opinion, Mr. Rothman?
So you know what I like about Mike is a few things. I remember one fight, he had like a wad of money and he gave it to a fighter. I don't know. I think it was a couple grand or something. I don't know how much was in the bag, but just because he's like, because I love that fight. You showed heart, and stuff like that. It really hits home when the promoter cares about the fighters on both sides, A and the B side. They they go all out for the fighters. Doesn't matter, or A or B. And in the last event I was at, you know, uh, a fighter that I've been following for quite some time now, maybe about 6 to 7 years, Uli Diaz. He's a I live in Florida, so
Yeah, shout out to the monster.
I've seen him fight, literally, Don. I've seen him fight boxing a bunch of times, MMA, and then bare knuckle. And what they did for him, what was amazing. That he retired his shoes in the ring, and like I felt it. I felt like that was I've never seen like a career be over like that before. When I was there when it began.
Yeah.
So,
Uli the Monster is a legend. Shout out to him. Fastest knockout in combat sports history.
yep.
Mr. 3 seconds. He's a really cool guy and a great fighter. I'm a huge fan of his as well. BYB is great. They really look after their fighters, and they give fighters an opportunity after their career. I know a number of guys that are fighters that work for the organization and help put on the shows, and we're blessed to get to fight for an organization that cares about the fighters, because I've fought for different organizations. I've fought in different sports. I've traveled all over the world, and I've seen firsthand the ugly side of this business. We all know about it, but at BYB, they really do care about the fighters and they look out for them. So I'm blessed to get to fight for them, and I can't wait to get to go out there in just 2.5 weeks and headline my second main event, my third world title fight in a row. Coming over to BYB was the best decision I ever made, and can't wait to do it once again.
Yeah, Denver, Colorado, I tell you what, if you don't get out to the stockyards on the 21st, you're going to miss out. We sold out last time. You can get your tickets at bytickets.com, or you can scan the code on my post on the original Fighter's Voice with Don Mcguire. We now have a QR code you can scan. You can go to BYB. They also have the QR code on the poster. You can scan and get your tickets, or just go to bytickets.com.
And
this is
you're
truly
right,
going
to. It is going to sell out. So to anybody watching that's considering going, make sure you get your tickets now, because the event will sell out. It's going to be a great fight. If you can't get tickets, it will be airing on the Fuse TV app and on the Sling TV app worldwide. So make sure to tune in, and that is free with your cable provider on those apps. So make sure to tune in on September 21st. I hate to cut it short, guys, but I got to get to bed. I got training in the morning. It's been a pleasure being on the show. Thank you for having me on again, Dawn, Steve. I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoy the show, and can't wait to come. I'm going to come back on again with my belt after I win.
All right. Most definitely. Before we let you go, I'm going to let Steve ask you a question, and then we'll let you wrap it up.
Yeah. Before you go, so I want to know, what do you love so much about bare knuckle and BYB that is getting you back into the ring in 2 weeks?
I'm a fighter through and through. I started training late in life. I started training when I was 23 years old. I ran track and field in college, and I dropped out of college and I started boxing. But long before that, I had a rough road to get to this point. As a young man, I was out on the streets, strung out, loaded, overdoses, hospitals, rehab, detox, AA meetings, sober living homes, recovery homes, court, jail, over and over and over again. I've had loaded guns pointed in my face. I've battled with depression, suicidal thoughts, drug overdoses. I've survived a lot of things that would have killed most people. And in a lot of ways, that became my superpower. And I learned how to weaponize that. And it made me the fighter that I am today. And I love being able to go out there and compete because I love fighting. It was the first thing I really found that I truly love doing, that I could really pour all of myself into. And it really gave me an identity as a young man being a fighter. And, now I get to travel the country and the world, going to some of the biggest events on the planet. I've been to some of the biggest fights in boxing, MMA, bare knuckle. I've been ringside, backstage, in the fucking ring, and it's really a dream come true. So, I owe everything that I am today to fighting. And in addition to championing the Athletes Journey Home Foundation, I'm dedicating this fight to my older brother Daniel and my friend Jeff, both of whom lost their battle with mental health recently, and they're no longer with us, and I want to go out there. I want to do this for anybody that has struggled with mental health. I want to show people that it's not about where you've been, it's about where you're going. And it doesn't matter how far you've fallen, you can still climb to reach great heights, but you have to keep climbing. And so that's what I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do. I'm going to show people that you can overcome anything in life, and you can reach great heights. Yeah. Obviously you can tell I'm getting a little emotional about it.
Yeah,
I got a little chip on my shoulder, and I'm coming with everything I have, man. Everything I fucking got in my heart and my soul. I'm gonna bring it on September 21st, and I will not be denied. I'm gonna get that fucking belt back. I'm gonna get the money that my organization needs to help cure brain damage, and I'm gonna do this for my brother and my friend Jeff and anybody that struggled with mental health.
Hey, you send me the link, bro, and I'll join the bandwagon and help you. We'll do this as a family. We're not gonna let you go as one, bro.
It's athletesjourneyhome.org. That's athletesjourneyhome.org for more information. Thank you guys. I appreciate the support. It means a lot. I love you guys.
Hey, I'm just going to say two things before we're out of here, bro. Bill Clancy says you're a bad man. He says history doesn't lie. The best of the best. Ladies and gentlemen, September 21st, Denver, Colorado. Catch the Mark the Shark Irwin versus Julio Tanori 2. You better get your tickets now, because I think by next week the tickets are going to be sold out. Everybody and their brother already saw the first fight. Mark, it was an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to have you on the show, champ. Can't wait to see you September 21st. Steve, do you got anything to say before he leaves?
Payback is a bitch.
You're damn right.
All right, Mark. Thank you, brother. God bless you. Get the training, and I'll see you in a few weeks.
Yeah, and I'll talk to you. I'm going to come back on when I got the belt.
Sounds good, sir. Most definitely. We got to do that. Let me see if I can get you out of the studio. There we go. Thank you, brother. God bless you.
Yeah, Don. So, I wanted to tell him, Mark, that one of the judges had the fighter draw.
Yeah.
So one ref saw it as a draw. And it was a very, very hard fight to judge. It really was. But wow, it makes for a great story for the comeback. and that's what it's all about. That's
Well, you noticed that we saw a different side of Mark Irwin tonight too.
yes.
The first time I met Mark Irwin was like this, and then tonight you ask him a question that opened up his heart and touched a space that he probably doesn't share very much. But I'm 100% honest when I told him to share the link. We will, help them in any way. See, people don't understand this about BYB, and this I'm surprised it didn't happen tonight, but it's also the beginning of football season. But generally, there's 6, 7, or 8 BYB fighters on each and every one of my shows. I apologize for the technical difficulties with the studio. Now I'm going to have to figure this out. I didn't know that they changed. What they did was they went to a broader platform, a better platform. But because I've been with them for so long, they grandfathered me in, and now I got all these new buttons and everything that I don't even know what the hell they are, bro. Because they even gave us black mode in our studio, and it kind of looks cool with the BYB logo back there. But
Yeah.
if you could see what I have to see, because I could even control the recording speed, the ratio rate, everything from right where I'm at, and it's just I've never seen any of this before. But to have the owner of the promotion, um, and the referee, like he says here, Mr. Stephen Blair, one of my best brothers, he says, awesome to support mental health. I know the feeling. I lost a grandson to mental health. We're going to start seeing a lot of that in this country. Things are, but we can make a change. See, that's what people don't understand. They see an ugly picture. It doesn't mean you got to walk into it. Create the change, create the difference, be the person that you want to be. And, I used to talk about on my show how the hatred that I got because of where I ended up in this industry. It's not about that. People are just confused. The whole world is confused right now. But I'll tell you what, and I can say it because the promoter is a conservative and one of my best friends and my brother in life. If we don't get this country back in 3 months here, we're screwed, bro. I'm not going to turn a fight show into a political show, but we sure as hell can't keep going the way we're going.
Yeah. It's funny, Don. I would see Dada at the local shows, and you look at him, and he's big guy.
Yeah.
6 something, and like the shoulders really, really broad shoulders. So you see Dada and you think he's either a football player, or a fighter, or a boxer, or someone famous. And he was telling me about this Trigon, and he's going to do bare knuckle, and he's on his 31st show.
Yeah.
That is just amazing to me. When it was just a dream, and now it's 31st show. And it's hard to do. It's hard to do 31 shows.
Oh, that quick too. But I'm going to get back because I can't find this comment, but I'll just read it from here because the man is on. Mr. Tommy Turner says, my dude, much love, Don. See you all in November. Hopefully the return of the samurai. It's weird. It's not even correlating the comments, which I don't get. I guess we'll get there sooner or later, but yeah, it's not even correlating the because I'm streaming on 5 different platforms right now, and I can't even. Now they're coming in. See, it just came in just now. So that's weird. It comes in on my board, and then it comes on the screen like a minute later. It doesn't make any sense. But Chris Shaggy Gonzalez says, Dada, you're the man. And Bill Clancy says, Tommy Turner, you're a true badass. He definitely is. I'm a samurai fan, bro. I love BYB. I love all these guys and girls. I love what they bring to the sport. It's refreshing without the fucking drama. That's the best way to put it.
It's exciting. It's exciting to watch. It's exciting to watch where the company's going. You know, and a fight like Tanori and Irwin too, it's gonna be a banger. I mean, like when you see a fight like that that goes the distance, you know, Tanori has never, you know, even seen like a third round in his fight.
No.
And he went the distance, you know, with the champ, which is, you know, no one would have predicted that, the going the distance. And you had asked Mark about you know, what do you think's going to happen, and he's like, I'm not going to say nothing. But at the end, it came out, you know, he was saying his prediction and stuff, which is really good. That's a good clip to get.
Yeah, it really is. And see, one thing, you know, me and Mark have come a long way. I've been with the company for a little bit. And I remember the first time I met him in Biloxi, and the first thing he did was flip me off. And
Yeah,
so when they asked to put him on my show, I was like, yeah, bring him on my show. And the first question I asked him, bro, when we were in Biloxi, why did you flip me off? He said, the promotion told me to. I said, the promotion didn't tell you to flip me off because I'm with the promotion. And I had him on my show that night. And I gained a new bit of respect for Mark Irwin. But I'll tell you what, after that fight, if you even if you hate him still to this day, you cannot take away what he gave away in Tanori versus Irwin 1. That
yeah,
fight right there, I mean, I've done every genre possible in this sport. And I'm telling you, you can watch bare knuckle on TV and it's not gonna give you what you want. You have to be there. And once you experience a bare knuckle fight, especially one like that live,
yeah,
you'll never watch regular MMA again. I mean, the only thing I watch is bare knuckle and boxing. I don't even watch the UFC anymore. I don't want to see somebody lay on somebody for 15 minutes or 30 minutes when I can see two guys just rip the hell out of each other like
yeah.
Mark and Julio did. After that fight, what was your aspirations and thoughts moving forward with bare knuckle and BYB?
I had just felt for Mark, and I was like, wow, I hope he heals real soon, because it looked bad. The hematoma on his head, I had never seen one that big, and swell so much on somebody, you
Yeah,
know.
he had two heads.
Yeah, it looked really, really bad. So I was just, my prayers were just going out to him, you know, for a speedy recovery. And my thoughts were, will we see him again? Because, you know, this is you know, things, so that happens to fighters and they don't come back, you
Yeah.
know. So, you know, it's like career ending. I knew another fighter that, you know, got punched right here too hard, and that was a career ending. You know, so
I
you know,
thought it was career ending. I honestly thought it was career ending. And then a week later, I see the dude in the gym lifting kettlebells. And I'm like going, what the hell is going on here? I mean, yeah, I had surgery 10 weeks ago and I'm still hurting like a little broad. But
yeah,
here, this guy had his eardrum messed up. His ear looked like a grenade went off in it.
yeah,
You know, I believe he had a broken nose, a broken jaw, the hematoma,
yeah,
and he just wouldn't take a step backwards. So the fans of Denver, and I'm not just saying this because I'm with BYB, I'm telling you, if you really want to get your money's worth,
yeah,
then you better go see this fight because Mark Irwin is not. He may walk out of the building without his belt again, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know. You know, I got to stay in the middle because Julio Tenori is going to be on Sunday. So if you'd like to do that show with me, Steve, you're more than welcome to come on and interview
yeah,
Julio Tenori with me.
yeah. I'm down. I'm down. What time is that Sunday?
That'll be same time as tonight. Works perfect every time. My good friend Nate Wren says I can watch Dandy Don Mcguire and Steve talk bare knuckle boxing all night. I appreciate that. He's with the Chavez family. He's tremendous. That kid right there is one hell of a photographer. So I'm gonna have to hook you guys up because now he's a two-time Hall of Fame, getting ready to go in his third time.
Nice.
Third Hall of Fame. He's only 33 years old, bro.
Where's he based out of?
California.
California.
Yeah, and then he works for, Zarate and, Chavez and all them. And I love this comment by one of the greatest referees in boxing history and in bare knuckle history, my brother, Bill Clancy. He says he lost to the second best bare knuckle guy on the planet. That's a fair statement you can make in that weight division, And then Bill said I had the honor of refereeing him in London. I think he's talking about Tommy Turner, the samurai.
Yeah.
I've seen BYB
thousands of fights.
Right? That's the crazy thing. But BYB is headed in a trajectory that I've never seen in this industry. But then again, we've never seen, and Bill say, yeah, he is. Like I said earlier, I've never seen a promotion care so much about the fighters, the staff, even the people delivering the food. When it comes to this promotion, everybody's equal. And I don't know what the hell they decided to do almost a year ago. But when Mel started creating these avenues, BYB took off. I don't know if it was him walking away from his other job or whatever it was. But Mel Valenzuela is probably one of the best matchmakers in bare knuckle right now. I'm not going to say in the sport because I know a lot of matchmakers, but in bare knuckle, Mel's killing it. This card is so stacked. Yeah. I mean, I told Mike I wanted to be there, but I'll be honest with you, I can barely get around my own house right now, and I wasn't going to miss this fight for anything in the world, but sometimes you got to learn to sit your ass down and just let things happen without you. I'm going to run this commercial one more time and then we'll kind of wrap things up, but I don't know if I don't even know if it's going to let me run a commercial. I've never, here, we'll just screw it because I'm using a touchscreen computer. So it could have something to do with that. I don't know, but we'll be right back.
BYB Bare Knuckle returns to Denver, Colorado, Saturday, September 21st for the long-awaited rematch of the 2023 Bare Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame Fight of the Year in one of the greatest bare knuckle battles to ever take place in the Trigon. As former BYB lightweight champion, Mark the Shark Irwin looks to regain his title against the man who took it from him, Julio Tanori. Plus, BYB Women's Lightweight Champion Patty Juarez looks to become BYB's first two-division women's champion when she faces Courtney Cameron for the BYB Super Lightweight title. Don't miss these great matchups and much more. Visit BYBExtreme.com for tickets and information.
Yeah. And watching Patty on that,
I don't know what's going on, bro. The studio is just doing its own thing.
Yeah, no, it looks good. It looks good. It's going to be a great night of fights. Just seeing Patty on that rewind, she brawls. She can fight. Gets hit and keeps coming. Like, it's amazing. Girl's got heart.
And I believe all of her sisters fight too, right?
All of them. They all fight.
That's incredible.
One of them like a bunch of boxing belts. She's like the champ. Yeah.
Real quick here. Good night, brother. Hey, Bill Clancy said good night.
Good night, Billy.
Oh man, let me so I don't miss anybody. Yeah, Clancy said good night, headed to bed. Nate Wren says, I look forward to seeing Steven back on the show. You guys are like watching Ted Lasso and Coach Beard. I could watch this podcast for many years and never see a dull moment. Bro, you know damn well you're one of my best friends, and you know I'm hurting like a $2 whore on Friday, but you know what? The show must go on. And you know what? You lay down, you stay down. Everybody gets mad because they say I come back too quick. Well, you know what? I got two mouths to feed other than my own. I also got bills to pay, you know, and my grandfather taught me a long time ago, this world don't stop for you. And I'd rather get up and do this show with my brother Steve, and thank you for helping me tonight. But I'd rather get up and do it with you than lay in bed and cry about it. I can sit here and hurt, and it's a whole hell of a lot better sitting here than it is in the bed. You know, Steve, you've had many years with BYB now, and you've got many opportunities. What does this card coming up truly mean to you? I know what we said on the show, but you're just as much of a photographer, just as much in depth in the sport as I am. I'm truly excited. I'm truly ecstatic for what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And I can't say I've been like I've been giddy, so giddy for the last few weeks, bro. But how does it make you feel? We know the 21st is right around the corner. We know it's going to actually happen. How amped up is Steve Rothman?
Yeah, so I'm very excited for the fight. You know, rematch is always like, you know, you never know what's going to go on in a rematch. Because when you first meet, you know, a fighter, you don't know what's going to happen. And then you can go back, you can look at tape, you know, of the fight. Tanori's got a 5-inch reach over Mark. I didn't see it play a factor in the last fight because Mark was always going forward. So I didn't see the reach being a factor. You know, could Julio go back and look at tape and say, you know, something, I need to jab him more, or keep him away from me more. So, you know, the rematch always makes for a great story.
Especially this one.
Especially this one. I mean, you know, Tanori's holding the belt and Mark wants it back. And you know, and Julio's not, he's a young kid. So, you know, his stamina did very well in the 6th round as well. He, you know, I was actually shocked that that it went 6 rounds. Like that was like what, another round, you know.
And you know the knockout that you were talking about, both you and Mark were talking about in the 3rd round. I was right there, and I mean, you hear this great big thud, and then the next you know, it's like Tanori is getting lifted up off the ground and just lands flat and slams onto the apron.
Yeah.
And he's just laying there like he's half dead, but then all of a sudden he just sits up, bro.
Yeah.
And I went, what the hell? And I was like, this is far from being over, man. And it just went. And both of them just wouldn't give an inch, you know, and I'm just amazed this fight is getting ready to happen. I mean, people, if you haven't seen the first one, go to YouTube, look at BYB Extreme Fight Series, and look at the first fight. And I guarantee you'll be buying a ticket for the second fight. Like I said, I was a bare-knuckle fan, but now I'm just enthralled in bare-knuckle. I mean, that fight right there is probably to date one of the best bare-knuckle fights I've ever seen, hands down. I mean, the only other fight that I can compare to that was Gula and Duran, bro. That was a damn good fight too. You know what? See, this is the thing with BYB. They're just putting on so many fights, and now it's like they're 2-3 weeks apart, and they're going to be 2-3 weeks apart for the rest of the year. That's being over in Europe and the United States.
Right.
So it's like, and we haven't even restarted the plans for Abu Dhabi. So it's going to be interesting to see where this promotion is at by the end of the year.
Abu Dhabi.
What was that?
I'm putting it out there. I'm down for going to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, hey, Dubai, Abu Dhabi. I'm down for going anywhere. Hell, I'll go to Ogden, Utah and be happy. I don't care. You know, Steve, it was great to have you on the show tonight. I know I took you away from your football game, but
That's all
I knew
right.
I knew I was hurting. I knew I had to do the show, but I wanted to bring on somebody that was just as knowledgeable in all regards with this sport as I am. And you've been a true friend, and I wanted to introduce you to mine, and I wanted people to understand how important you are to this sport. You know, this not only he does a lot of things. He also created this, uh, takes pictures. I mean, to exist in this industry, you have to be a jack of all trades and a master of all of them. Because if you're not, you're only going to last 3 to 5 years in this industry. But Steve is a tremendous brother of mine. Steve, where can people reach out to you, buy your merchandise, your other products? How can they get a hold of you, bro?
Yeah, Don. So I run a printing business. So I do anything that any company needs printed, whether it be business cards, flyers, restaurant menus, restaurant placemats, restaurant beer, mugs with their logos on it. Literally about 300,000 products I have.
Yeah.
Chiefs 2020, Baltimore 17th, fourth quarter. Nice. Thanks for the update. They've been popping up on my phone, so I've been getting the updates. But I have a business that I run with a couple of my friends, which is the Fighting News, which is the fightingnews.com, and we're on every avenue there possibly is for social media at the Fighting News. So YouTube at the Fighting News. We interview fighters. We interview promoters. I had Mike Vasquez when he first started BYB on my show with Dada, which was, a great show for me. And I have fun doing it, Don. I have fun doing it. It's good times. And it gets me out of the house.
Oh yeah, I love it. And it's kind of hard to believe that I've been doing this for almost 41 years now, and to go through 254 surgeries while I was doing it, that's the only reason I'm still here, is because I wanted to collect that paycheck on fight. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Bill Clancy says, Nate Wren, I agree. He wants to get Bill Clancy on a t-shirt. I was like, hey, that's your business, bro. I just take pictures. I don't put them on shirts. But before I let you go, brother, I'd be honored if you joined me Sunday night with Julio Tenori, and we'll get the other side of the story. But it was really a great question that you asked tonight, man, because you picked up the slack where I was kind of letting off a little bit, and you got Mark to open up, and you touched his heart.
Yeah.
See, that's what life is about, that's what I want my show to be, for a fighter to feel that they can come here and speak about anything, because I'm willing to help his cause. I know you are. I know others will be.
Yeah.
I know
For sure.
I think a lot of people don't realize how intertwined this community is, and for you to take the time to come on the show tonight meant the world to me. But I'd like to do this a lot more often, because sometimes it's hard to run, a show, especially in long format like I do by myself, especially when you're in pain.
Yeah.
But Nate Wren says the Chiefs 26, Ravens 17.
The Chiefs are going to win another Super Bowl.
Oh, it's already planned out for him, bro. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss any more comments, and then we'll kind of wrap things up.
Oh boy, those Chiefs are good, man. The offensive line, they don't touch the quarterback. It's like amazing. He just has so much time. It's wow. They're good.
I live in Missouri, and I'm not even a Chiefs fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Steelers fan. I'm a diehard Steelers fan. I will die a Steelers fan. It's just, I've been one since '74. So I'm not a bandwagon person, bro, but I tell you what, if I was healthy and wasn't with this promotion, I definitely would walk to Colorado if I had to see this fight. I don't know, man. Being stuck in the house for a minute's kind of got me all, what do they call that? Cabin fever.
Yeah.
But I'll get back out, man. I'm looking forward to the next event after this, even though it's going to be in the UK, and then I'll have to take up the one here. But to see BYB grow at the pace they are now, and like Mark said, to have Stephen A. Smith, ESPN, Barstool Sports, Troy Portney, all these people just come out and talk about that fight, and what an amazing night it was. So
Yeah.
here's to the next one on September 21st. Anything else you want to add to the show before we bounce, bro?
Deuces.
Double deuces. Nate Wren says Terry Bradshaw is the most underrated greats at quarterback of all time. I have to agree with you. The only thing you're leaving out of there is his homeboy, Mean Joe Green. But you know what? A modern era, the Steelers sucked once they lost Polamalu. Troy Polamalu, once he left, they sucked. He carried Big Ben too. But we got to hey, my brother, Mr. Stephen Blair says, great show, guys. Good night and God bless. Good night and God bless, bro. Appreciate it.
When Mark mentioned Thomas the Hitman Hearns,
Yeah.
it brought a personal memory for me about Hitman. I was called to go to where the Florida Panthers play hockey. I was called there. They're like, we need a photographer, come. And I was like, all right. So I got hired that day to be his personal photographer. So literally, I walked around the whole establishment. He was signing gloves. He was signing autographs. And I was his personal photographer for the day. So when he mentioned that, I was like, I hope it's going to be, him being on top. And then he started saying who he's fighting, Hagler. And he had lost that fight. But no, he was such a nice guy, always smiling, always making jokes. And he was just a real fun guy to be around.
Yeah. Sugar Ray and Hearns were almost identical too. They make jokes. Still, it's like they pick on each other all the time. They always talk crap about each other. That's what I always. Somebody had said it earlier in the comments, and I think it was Nate Wren, but when two men go to war, like Mark Irwin and Julio Tenori, I don't care if you hated each other before the fight. You're going to damn well respect each other after the fight. I can guarantee you that. Most of the sport, they want to see the personas, but after the fight, when you go to battle like that, then you truly have respect for your opponent. Well, man, we've been on here for an hour and 20 minutes. I think it's time to wrap things up. You have any?
Talk to you for hours.
Oh, I know you can, but you have any websites or anything else you want to share with the people before we dip?
No, it's just customshirtcity.com and thefightingnews.com. And YouTube is probably the best way we get our information out there, which is at the Fighting News. We get interviews at shows, local fighters. I got a fighter this week. He's fought 4 times professionally in the last month, which is very hard to do. To even get your name on a show, and he's very active. His brother Charles Rosa was in the UFC. This is his younger brother Lucas Rosa, and he's got like 5 brothers, and they all were like wrestlers in high school and fighters, and so it's a big fight family. And believe it or not, Lucas Rosa has his father has an organization called Chucky's Fight, which is his dad's name, because he lost, I think, 2 of his sons to, mental illness and drugs. So, he formed the Chucky's Fight, and every year they go into freezing cold water at the beach in Boston, and they do a charity event like that.
Oh yeah, one of the polar bear plunges. Yeah.
Yeah, polar bear plunges. So, shout out to Lucas Rosa. He's fighting this weekend. And yeah, we support our local fighters, and we like to be a part of their journeys, for sure.
Yeah, and especially tell their stories. That's the beautiful part about it.
Yeah.
Thank you for honoring my show, brother. It really is a tremendous honor to have you on.
Thank you
Nate
so much.
Wren says, I'm going to be prank calling Steven real soon. Yeah, kind of hard to do when you don't have his number, bro. A matchmaker from Colorado, a great brother of mine, is going to be the last comment I'm going to put up here, I promise. He says, great show, guys. Had a good night. Really enjoyed the show.
Thanks, Robert.
I like doing shows just in a phone call type aspect. I'm not going to bring you on here and share what everybody already knows from the internet. I just want to come on here, have a phone call that the world gets to listen to, but you hear the words come directly out of the fighter's mouth in his context, his way. And you're not going to find that anywhere else but the original fighter's voice. So with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you. I want to wish you a good night and God bless. And Steven, I'll see you on Sunday, and I promise I'll have the studio figured out by then, bro. This is so weird. You have StreamYard. Jump into it and see what the hell they did, bro, and figure that stuff out for me. On that note, have a good night, bro.
All right, Don. Thanks for having me.
All right, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. I'm hurting. You can see I've lost a lot of weight. You can see this side. They went in here, but I'm hurting. It's all confusing on camera. But we're trying to figure that out by the moment. We'll get there when we do. I'll let you know. But at this rate, it looks like they're going to have to take the cage out, and I don't know what they're going to do from that point. But with the prayers and strength we'll get there. That's all I can say. I'm not going to worry about it because God still has me here. With that being said, have a good night and God bless.